Hey YouTube, Josh here from RC Ranch. In today's video I'm going to be showing some tips and tricks on clothing. So one of the first tricks that I have is how to flip the shirts and clothing and things like that. I think it's pretty common, but I always grab opposite. So I cross my arms, grab one here, grab the other sleeve, and while I'm doing this I'm pinching the sleeves. So I'm holding right here, I'm holding right here, and what that does is it keeps the sleeves formed when you're flipping it. So if you grab right here, and pick it up, it can look kind of loose, but it's actually still in form. And then I take it and I kind of straighten it out right here, and then with the collar, since you can see the collar is hanging down right now, if you do this properly, you can kind of lay it down and flick the collar up, and then the shirt comes out somewhat nice looking. And so one final touch up and it'll be good looking. So I just kind of brush it down, make sure there's no lint or anything like that on it, and then I take a picture of it. And so one of the things when I'm taking pictures, if I'm ever coming over here and the photo is looking blurry, I'll either use two hands, or you can take your pinky finger and your thumb finger and make somewhat of a tripod, and then you can rest your hands like this, and then it's more of a steady position. Whereas if you're just holding it out here with one hand or two, you can get somewhat of a shake effect or a blur. And so if you're having issues steadying your camera or your phone, you can just go like this and get a nice close-up of the shirt. And then another thing that I like to do is I like to keep all of my tools staged and ready to go. So right here is all the tools, and so I'm typically working just in this little area right here, and then all of the tools are always ready to go. So if I'm working on the shirt right here, the scissors is always right here, and it's always facing the same way so that I can just reach over without even looking and grab it. And that way, if I'm holding some sort of thread with one hand, I can continue looking at the shirt and just reach back and grab the scissors and cut it. And then another tool that I have is this Scotty peeler. So this thing is useful for taking off labels. So if you have labels on the clothing, you know, price tags, things like that, this tool will basically just, you know, it peels the labels off. And then another trick with this is that you can get into tighter spots. Like if you have a string that's hanging from the collar, you can just pull on it and get right in there and just cut it with the tip of this blade. So this thing's pretty helpful. Another thing I do, I'm going to adjust the camera down lower here, so pardon the view, but I like to keep the ruler right here by my right hand, because that's just where I grab for. So I'll be holding the camera with the left hand, and then I reach down with this one, and while I'm doing this, I'm kind of planning out where I'm going to put the end of the ruler. So I throw it out like that, and sometimes, you know, it goes quite a ways. If you do this a lot, you can throw it out to a nice perfect length, or, you know, a little bit longer, and then just set it right there, and then I can take my free hand and take a photo. And then I actually drop the phone or the camera between this photo and the pit to pit, because usually what happens is the shirt will get kind of like folded up right here in the elbow areas. So I end up taking the ruler and I put one end right here, and then I just make sure that it's all the way out, so that when the ruler is going in there, it's not here, it's all the way over. So I make sure this one's all the way over, and then I do the same with the other side, so it's not wrinkled up. And then I take it and I take the photo from back here. And if you're having trouble getting this particular photo, you can take it at an angle too, so that you're more shooting it this way. Because if you go straight down, it can be a little bit more difficult to do. So if you're having issues, just shoot from right here. And then another little trick that I have is, if you have something that's super long, I'm going to bring the camera over. If you have something that's super long, you can do another little trick where it'll get the entire ruler, even if the ruler is super long, in the shot. So you take the ruler, and let's say the thing is actually 4 feet long. That's how long this ruler is. The other one's 3 feet. So you take it and you have it way up there, and so this is a tough shot because your arm with the camera would have to be like just way too far up. So what I do is I take the phone and I go like this, and you can come down and shoot it at an angle, so you're actually like, you can read this number and then you just shoot it like that. And so here's an example. Hopefully you can see this, but if you shoot from an angle down there, you can see the end of the ruler there, and the photos are still, you can see the measurements here. So this is a way to get away with just one picture, and it's easier to take this picture just angle like that. And so that's another little trick. I think that with the lint roller, it's really basic. I just keep the lint roller by my side. That's pretty common when I'm hitting stuff. I go along the sleeves. You know, you want to do maybe this section. It's just like mowing the lawn or vacuuming. So with the lint roller, you know, just make sure you're getting all of it, because it'd be unfortunate to do all this work and then have a huge chunk of something weird under here, or, you know, something out of the dryer just clinging on there. So that's what I do. I just go along the seams, you know, and then I get up here, get basically all the areas, and you want to follow the seams, because if you're going across like this, you're not going to get in the cracks. So you just want to get it like that, get it really quick. I typically just use one sheet per item, because there's no reason to switch it out between. And then over here for labels, what I have going on is they're just labels that I print out on the printer. So I print out sheets with these labels on there, and then I take a cutter. This is just like what you get from an art store, and it has a sliding blade. And so I just put the pieces of paper on here, and then I slide this back. And if you start from the right side, don't cut all the way into the paper. You come out like maybe 1/4 of an inch, or like just a tiny bit. You start the blade right at the very edge on the right, and then cut it all the way like this. Then what you get is something like this, and so then you can rip the numbers off from left to right, and you're never like having to have strings. So basically you cut from the right to the left, and then you can peel each number off individually. And so then you just peel this off. I'm not actually going to peel it off because I don't want to have to tape it back on, but basically you just peel it off like that, and then you take the piece of paper, this is the label that I have, and I just get it right over to the tape, and I slide it under the tape roll, and then I put it onto there, and I pull off my piece of tape, and now what I'm left with, it's kind of hard to see, but this is the label, and it's got the piece of tape already on it. So then I take this, and I just put it right on the clothing item, and then I take my camera out, and I just get a quick picture of that. And so then the last picture in the photos is of this label, so then you can't mess the label up. For bags, what I do is I rip off just this end of the thing. If you're lucky, 50% of the time this is the right end and the opening is right here. Otherwise this is the opening. So basically I cut them so that they're open right here, and then I can pull. I'll have the shirt in one hand, and I'll kind of pinch the bags, and you squeeze them like this, and then if you can get your thumb in there and put the shirt in, and then just kind of pull the bag over the shirt, and then it's, you know, in here. And I like to make sure that the corners are all nice, and then it looks like this. So this is more professional. If you just kind of, when you're done sticking your hand in there with the shirt, I have long fingers, so I take my pinky and my thumb and I kind of pull out like that when I'm pulling my hand out, so that it makes this package nice and crisp. And then, you know, when you're putting them into the filing cabinet system, or the filing system here, then they're all nice and folded properly. So I think that's it for the tips and tricks. If you guys have any other advice, oh, the alligator clips. That's an important one. That's so I use alligator clips or these pins. So if this is slipping down, like if I put it up here, I'm holding it right here, and it's slipping, I'll either take pins like this and I hook them through the shoulder seam like that, and then I just hook it on there, and then I'll grab the other one and hook the other one on here, and then it's pinned up there. And that takes a little bit of time to do. You have to pin it, and then when you're flipping it, you also have to re-pin it on the flip. And so then you're stuck messing with these pins. So the pins are fine, but one trick that I've learned is to use the alligator clip. And so these are alligator clips. I think you can get these at like a hardware store. They're for, I think these were for electronics or something. And then the chain, this chain is from a light like off the back there. So you guys could just, I don't know, I'm sure you have a chain or even a piece of string would work. And this chain doesn't have to be this long. I would actually recommend shortening it. Like something like this would be best, because then you don't have to pull the end so high. I'm going to show you how I use this. I'll put the shirt up here, and then if it's slipping, I'll just grab the alligator hook off the wall. There's a little screw that sticks out, so I hang this right there. And everything's arm reach, so even if this is slipping, I can just grab the alligator clip, and then I put one end on the top of the shirt, and then I put the other end just up here. And so then it's clipped onto the fabric, and then this shirt is just hanging here. And the reason I'd shorten the chain is just because what you just saw, I have to reach way up there to chain it, and I've never had a circumstance where the longer chain helps. So I'm looking to shorten the chain, but another benefit to this over the pins is that when you're flipping it, then you don't have to undo anything. So when I flip it, I just take my hand and I put it under, and then I grab. I'm always pinching the shoulders, because if you don't pinch the shoulders, it loses its shape. So you flip it, and then it comes out a little crooked looking compared to without any assistance or anything holding it. But then you can quickly, you know, give it a once over, and now it's pretty much ready to photo. So I think that's the last trick. I don't know, I guess yeah, that's the last trick for now. If I can think of anything else, I'll post another clip of it, but I think that's it. For photos anyway. I have some other tricks for like listing and things like that that I'm gonna show in the future. Just have to get my screen recording software kind of something so that I can do something besides trying to show you the screen of my phone or computer on a camera. So that's the next video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you in the next one.